The courtroom was thick with the scent of expensive cologne and quiet arrogance. Wealthy elites, friends of Alexander Hawthorne, filled the benches, their faces smug. Alexander himself sat confidently beside his high priest legal team, already tasting victory. He saw his wife Sarah as nothing more than a simple woman from a forgotten small town, someone he could easily discard. His plan was simple and cruel: leave her with absolutely nothing. He smirked, imagining her despair. But just as the judge was about to enter, a shadow fell over the courthouse steps. A fleet of sleek black SUVs rolled up, their tinted windows reflecting the stunned faces of onlookers. At that moment, everything Alexander thought he knew began to unravel. He had no idea he wasn't just divorcing a small-town girl. He was divorcing the secret daughter of one of the most powerful and feared dynasties in America. As the hearing began, Alexander's attorney launched into a vicious character assassination. He painted Sarah as a useless, unfaithful freeloader who had contributed nothing to the marriage. Alexander leaned back, a cruel smile playing on his lips. Across the room, Sarah remained completely calm. She just sat there, her expression unreadable. She was too calm, and it was starting to feel unsettling. Then, without warning, the heavy courtroom doors burst open with a resounding bang that silenced the room. 6 elite security guards, dressed in impeccable black suits with earpieces, entered first, their movements precise and intimidating. They formed a protective V formation, and through it walked a silver-haired man with piercing, cold blue eyes and a woman in a crisp, white power suit, who radiated authority. The entire courtroom froze. A wave of shocked whispers rippled through the gallery as people recognized the man. "I am William Vanderquilt," the man announced, his voice low but carrying an undeniable weight of power that filled every corner of the room. Gasps echoed off the marble walls. They were the definition of old money, a name synonymous with untouchable influence and limitless wealth. Their power was legendary, their reach absolute. In that stunned silence, Sarah finally stood up. She looked directly at the powerful man and said, with a calm clarity that cut through the tension, "Hello, Dad." In that single instant, Alexander Hawthorne's world didn't just crack, it shattered into a million pieces. The confident smirk vanished from his face, replaced by a mask of pure, unadulterated shock and terror. He stared from Sarah to William Vanderquilt and back again, his mind struggling to process the impossible reality unfolding before him. He quickly learned a devastating truth. Sarah hadn't been a poor girl he'd graciously lifted from obscurity. She was an heiress who had been testing him, giving him a chance to prove his character, to love her for who she was, not what she had. With chilling efficiency, she revealed that through a series of quiet, strategic investments made with her family's backing, Sarah had become the majority shareholder of Alexander's own company. She owned 51%. Sarah wasn't just his wife, she was his boss. In one brutal, humiliating hour, Alexander lost everything. His company was now hers. The penthouse he flaunted was in her name. His money, his assets, his entire future gone. His mistress, seeing his downfall, abandoned him immediately. His accounts were frozen, and worse, the Vanderquilt's legal team had uncovered and exposed a trail of his financial crimes. 6 months later, Alexander stood in the same courtroom, but the scene was drastically different. The expensive suit was gone, replaced by a faded orange prison uniform. The arrogance had been stripped away, leaving only a hollow, broken man. He was sentenced to 15 years. Across the room, Sarah sat in the gallery, dressed in a stunning white outfit, the very picture of calm, untouchable power. As guards prepared to lead him away, Alexander's eyes found hers, and he begged, his voice cracking with desperation, "Sarah, please." But Sarah didn't flinch. Her gaze was steady, not with hatred, but with a profound and final certainty. "You didn't lose me, Alexander," she said, her voice clear and strong. "You lost yourself." With those final words, she stood up, turned, and walked out of the courtroom. She walked out into the sunlight, free, powerful, and utterly unstoppable, leaving the wreckage of his life behind her.